Stories at this hour. It's not the first, neither is it the second time Nigerians are experiencing fuel scarcity in 2024. From the nation's capital, Abuja, to Lagos and other states, residents are experiencing fuel scarcity, which actually began last week, with queues forming at many filling stations, while others have shut down completely. Now, when Channels Television visited some of these filling stations, motorists expressed frustration, having wasted hours in queues instead of attending to their work and businesses, a situation that has continued this morning. However, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL, and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, that's the NMDPRA, blames the situation, I should say the authority, blames the situation on the difficulty of discharging the product from mother vessels to smaller ones and the bad condition of strategic highways. The Executive Vice President of the NNPCL asked Nigerians not to panic, as plans are in place to ensure that normalcy returns to all parts of the country. Well, staying in that industry, Dangote refinery is again given the reassurance that it will commence the refining of petrol and ultra-low sulfur diesel, while it will scale up to at least 500,000 barrels per day capacity by July-August. That's according to the Vice President of Oil and Gas at Dangote Industries Limited, Mr. Edwin Devakumar, during a visit by the House of Representative Committee on Local Content and some delegation of S&P Global to the complex in Ebejuleki.
It can produce the best quality products in the world, Euro 5 grade. It's going to be one of the most energy efficient refinery. It's very highly environmental friendly because it will comply with either the EU standards or the US EPA standards, whichever is more stringent among the two. So very highly environmental friendly, and it's the most sophisticated plant, one of the most sophisticated refinery in the world. With a high level of automation. This is the largest single train petroleum refinery in the world, and it has an integrated petrochemical complex. There's various challenges we had faced while during the construction and how we overcome them. And one of the key points I made was, normally every such project is constructed by a major EPC contractor in the world, engineering, procurement, construction contractor. We have the likes of Bechtel of US, Technip of France, Saipem of Italy, JGC of Japan, and these are the kind of guys who come and do it. Even the other refineries in Nigeria, you can see the LNG plants. But here, we took the challenge that a Nigerian company should be able to do it, which we have proved that we could do it, and we have done it.
Well, let's talk politics now in River State. It's a tale of two sit-ins, two plenaries, two resolutions, all coming from one state and one House of Assembly. The Mountain Army will elect River State House of Assembly at a sit-in. Yesterday gave Governor Fubara 7 days to present the River State appropriation bill to the Assembly. Now, that's the first sit-in. Take a listen.
The governor of River State has failed in his duty, in his oath of office, to present the appropriation bill to the River State House of Assembly. He has failed to do so up till this date. The Constitution in Section 121 mandates the governor to present the appropriation bill to the House of Assembly. In Section 122, the Constitution gives a window for the governor to spend in the event that there is no appropriation law, but limits that window to 6 months. Honorable members, the 6 months window allowed to the governor has since elapsed on the 30th day of June. As we speak, there is no window for the governor to spend taxpayers' money or any fund from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of River State. She also notified the governor that in total disregard to provisions of the 1999 Constitution as altered and the judgment delivered on the 4th day of July 2024, by the Court of Appeal in appeal number CA/PS/198/2024, in which all actions taken by the 3 suspended members, including purported screening and confirmation of commissioner nominees for appointments, caretaker committees, and other approvals, has been declared null and void.
Elsewhere in the state, this time at the government house, the other house, led by Victor Okojumbo, held a parallel sit-in and screened the commissioner nominee, Emmanuel Frank Fubara. This was followed by his swearing-in at the Executive Council chambers of the government house. In his charge after the oath-taking ceremony, Governor Fubara defended his recognition of the Victor Okojumbo-led assembly, saying it is a lawfully recognized legislative arm.
If it were a situation that Fubara is involved in anything, or Fubara's associate, by now, Nigeria will be hot. There will be arrests, there will be statements, there will be counter this, there will be press conference. But because it is from the other side, but glory to God that they couldn't hide it, I've not been hearing anything. And I'm wondering, after how many weeks now, the Nigerian police is still not able to come out and make a statement about the attempt by one, whoever, I don't know what his name is, that tried to detonate a dynamite in front of Hotel Presidential. I'm still wondering why it has not happened. But if it's maybe any other thing that has to do with us, they will say, in fact, by now they should have even charged the person for terrorism. But you see, this God that I said that we are serving genuinely, this God that River State has been dedicated to by our predecessors. Because when they make statement, they say River State belongs to Christ, belongs to God. And that is the God that is saving us and lifting us.
Well, more stories now. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Olaolukoide, says the commission is not out to witch hunt any individual, and the fight against corruption is not personal. He also applauded the student loan program by President Bola Tinubu, as he states that it will end the issue of cybercrimes among students and youths. The chairman was speaking when he received the National Association of Nigerian Students, who led a solidarity rally to the commission's headquarters in Abuja. And to the courts now, where the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court has directed that the request by former Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, for the transfer of the alleged money laundering case instituted against him by the EFCC be presented in open court. In a letter addressed to his lawyers, Mr. Abdul Wahab Mohammed and Musa Yakubu, the Chief Judge drew the appeal or the attention of the former Governor's Council to a pending appeal in the case, Yahaya Bello versus Federal Republic of Nigeria, wherein the defendant had sought a consequential order remitting the case to the Chief Judge for reassignment. The letter said as a result of this, it will be improper to take any step that will be tantamount to preempting the outcome of the appeal. A former senator and senior special assistant to former President Muhammadu Buhari in National Assembly matters, Senator Ita Eneng, is asking the National Assembly to go to the Supreme Court for interpretation on whether or not treaties and agreements can be signed by the federal government before they are sent to the National Assembly. Senator Eneng says the Assembly must backtrack to 2002 and query every agreement and treaty which failed to pass through Parliament. Well, his remarks come on the heels of the controversial Samoa agreement. He was speaking on our program with our political correspondent, Terry Kumi. Now let's talk about the correctional centers. As the Minister of Interior, Olumide Tunji Ojo, has revealed plans by the federal government to relocate the Ikoyi Correctional Center and other correctional facilities nationwide. Mr. Tunji Ojo disclosed this while on a tour of some facilities in Lagos, while revealing that urbanization has caught up with the Ikoyi Correctional Center. The minister adds that there is no adequate buffer zone as stipulated in the Constitution. He also promises some structural reforms at the Alagmo facility. And for those asking about just when the population census will commence, well, the National Population Commission is optimistic that it will hold the long overdue national census exercise before April next year. The chairman of the commission, Mr. Nasir Kwara, stated this at a press briefing ahead of the World Population Day stated for July the 11th. And he adds that Nigeria needs to strengthen its data generation institutions and adequately fund periodic data collection to help in policy decisions. And on to business news. The federal government has approved a 150-day duty-free window to allow the importation of maize, husked brown rice, and wheat as part of measures to combat rising food inflation in the country. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, disclosed this in a press statement as part of implementation of the Presidential Accelerated and Stabilization Advancement Plan, also known as ASAP. And let's head outside the country, where Russia struck cities across Ukraine on Monday with a missile barrage that killed 31 people and heavily damaged a Kyiv Children's Hospital in an assault condemned as a ruthless attack on civilians. AFP journalists on the scene saw dozens of volunteers, doctors, and rescue workers digging through debris of a part of the pediatric hospital in a desperate search for survivors after a rare daytime bombardment. But Russia claims the extensive missile damage in Kyiv was in fact caused by Ukrainian air defense missile. And to sports news, where Novak Djokovic swept aside Denmark's Holger Rune to reach his 15th quarterfinal at Wimbledon before accusing fans of disrespecting him. Despite appearing to struggle with the stomach issue, Djokovic beats the 15th seed 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 on a rowdy center court. Rune received the backing of many in attendance who cheered him, along with drawn-out bellowing of his name, which Djokovic angrily took to be booing for the 37-year-old who is going for an 8th Wimbledon. That's Djokovic, and record 25th Grand Slam overall will next play Alex de Minaur. And those are the top stories at this hour, but the big question is, what exactly are you saying about those major stories?